is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me.
Well, always a commendable thing to do, to get up in front of a crowd and express yourself in a certain way.
Not a bad voice.
Presidential? Yeah. Well, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. John Bachman, Vera Gibbons here. That was Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley serenading a group of young Democrats at an event in New Hampshire. We mentioned Vera here is on the set. We're going to have our political panel now. Joining us in the newsroom is Javier Manjarres, the managing editor of Shark Tank, and Neil Sroka, the communications director for Democracy of America. All right, Neil, defend your man, Martin O'Malley. What do you think about this song?
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily he's my man, but hey, why not have a president who knows how to strum a guitar and sing a good song? We've had some pretty good luck with somebody who knew how to play the saxophone way back in the day.
That's a good point. I think John Kerry is a guitar player, too. Yeah. Maybe that he might be hurting Martin O'Malley there. But Javier, some socialist connotations to that song.
I just love the fact that he just made every Republican's
don't say it, Javier.
No, listen, hey, I'm picturing Dukakis back in 1990 or whatever, 1980 something, with that helmet and that tank.
The helmet
exactly.
And the tank.
You know what? This is great. This reminds me of Howard Dean a couple years back.
Woo, Vera.
What do the kids think of it?
That's just silly.
That's what I'd like to know. What do the
No,
kids
it's not. It is what it is. Okay, if Ted Cruz would have done that, guess what? The liberals, including Neil, would be all over him.
All right. Well, we're all over Martin O'Malley for doing this. But Vera, when you see a politician, we're still in the silly season, as it were, Martin O'Malley, clips like this, you have to be presidential. Some people knock Barack Obama for wearing shorts on the golf course. Is this in the same kind of vein, or are we making something out of nothing?
No, this is just fun. He's having a good time. He knows how to play the guitar, and as I say, he can carry a tune to some degree. It's all in good fun and game.
Okay, well, Neil, right now we're at the point, we had Ed Klein here earlier on the show talking about a number of scandals affecting Hillary Clinton and the number that could still come out when she decides to announce that she's actually running for president. But pressure at the same time has been mounting on O'Malley and Elizabeth Warren to step into the race. Are we getting any closer? I know Elizabeth Warren says she's not running, but what about O'Malley? Do you think he is getting ready to get serious about this?
Well, he obviously is definitely serious on running. Democracy for America, along with our friends over at MoveOn.org, have been actively encouraging Elizabeth Warren to change her mind. She's been very clear about not wanting to run. We think that she'd actually be a phenomenally successful candidate if she decided to get in.
So you say the heck with O'Malley, you want Warren?
It's not to heck with O'Malley. The more voices, the better. The big difference between Republicans and Democrats is the more Democratic voices get in the primary race, the stronger and better our nominee is going to be. The same isn't true on the other side of the equation.
Jesus Christ.
All right, well, Javi, you're laughing, so go ahead and step in there.
Listen, I love to see that the MoveOver.orgs and the Socialism for Americas, like Neil's group, are all for the Warrens. Listen, I agree and disagree with them. I agree that they're all going to get behind one of their candidates, but I don't think it's going to be either Warren or O'Malley or even Hillary. I think it's going to be the Julian Castro. I think he's like I said the other day, I think he's the dark horse. He fits the mold for the typical Obama-like socialist candidate. I think he's going to be the guy. And again, I disagree with Neil that there's a lot of good candidates on the Republican side. You have Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, take your pick, Scott Walker.
I am looking forward to it. Open up the clown car door and let them all come out.
Yeah, and then Hillary will come right out with Bill Clinton.
Vera, what do you think? At the last Republican primary, there was some concern about having too many voices on the stage at the same time. Are they repeating the same mistakes?
It looks like there's a lot of noise. I mean, you mentioned voices. At the moment, it just seems like noise to me, but, give it a little time and then some of that noise will become a little quieter.
All right, well, let's also talk about Hillary Clinton, guys. We had this issue with religious freedom this week, and a lot of folks are pointing to the fact that this is a law that Bill Clinton signed on the federal level back in 1993. Hillary, of course, has come out and said she's against these types of laws. How many times is Hillary going to have to do this, basically resurrect and defend her husband's record as president? Neil, go ahead.
Listen, I think at the end of the day, as a law that was passed 2 decades ago, I think we can all agree maybe it's well past its due. And particularly in the case of what Indiana tried to do here, listen, the outcry has been pretty clear from all across the country. We need to be intolerant of intolerant. And that's exactly why they're changing their law as a result.
All right, well, Javi, I'm going to ask you to hold your answer because I know you got a good one. Maybe. But we got to go to commercial break in about 20 seconds. We're also going to talk about that social media post from Michelle Bachman coming back with Neil and Javier. Cringeworthy.
Controversial one.
Cringeworthy, perhaps. All right, more to come here on America's Forum. John Bachman, Vera Gibbons. J.D. Hayworth is taking a little time off, much-deserved time off. He's with his family. We hope he's not watching. Hope he's doing something else. We hope you're watching. Stay tuned.
The sin is not that he's the tweets offensive, although some of them were. He's not funny. This guy will not have the job within a year after he starts, I predict, right here, right now.
Boom. Mark Halpern right there saying that the incoming host of The Daily Show won't be working at The Daily Show when this is all said and done in about a year. John Bachman, Vera Gibbons here. We're trying to, both of us, fill in for J.D. Hayworth, right?
It's a big shoes to fill here.
Also sticking around with us, Javier Manjarres, the managing editor of the Shark Tank, and Neil Sroka, the communications director of Democracy for America. All right, guys, let's put this in perspective. We're talking about a comedian here. Is this maybe one of the more overblown stories of the week?
Yeah, I would say so.
That's all you want to say? Go ahead, Javier. What do you say?
Go ahead, Javier. I'll let you have it.
I just think it's a media ploy by Comedy Central. They're trying to boost this guy. This guy, I don't know if he's funny or not. I really don't care. I don't watch Comedy Central or The Daily Show. But I'm sure that those writers, they'll be in full swing in making this guy try to come across as funny as possible.
Now that's interesting, Vera. What do you think? A kind of a reverse psychological ploy by Comedy Central. Conspiracy theory on it.
I didn't even think of that.
I'm not sure about that. The thing about these tweets were some people found them offensive, others people didn't. The bigger part is they weren't funny. I think it is a question. The one thing I'll say, some of the logic on this has been, why weren't other people asked to host the Daily Show? I think one thing to keep in mind is this guy has hosted a daily kind of comedy show before in South Africa. It's hard to do a show every day.
It is, but Vera, this is an intrinsically, it's become an American show. Jon Stewart is American, and Americans will give him more space to criticize this country.
Right. I mean, this is what they do. It's all in fun and game. Criticism, make fun of people, make fun of religions. It's a show.
Yes, we have a comedian, and we also have a fake news show, we should point out.
It's a fake news
but
show,
listen,
yes,
but
on top of that.
fun or not, these are anti-Semitic statements he made on
You're
Twitter.
absolutely right, Javier.
Right.
Nobody is discounting that fact right there.
Right.
And as everybody seems to agree, they weren't even funny.
Right.
No, they weren't even funny.
Disparaging
No.
tweets.
But it didn't bother me so much. I mean, I think when Saturday Night Live did the spoof on the ISIS thing a little while back, that really bothered me.
Yeah.
This doesn't bother me as much for some reason.
And another thing that's bothering a lot of folks out there, and Javier, we'll ask you about this, a post by Michelle Bachman yesterday. Quote, with this Iran deal, Barack Obama is for the 300 million souls of the United States what Andreas Lubitz is for the 150 souls on the Germanwings flight. Go ahead, Javier.
Well, look, she's her own person. She's known to make these type of statements, these controversial statements. Look, I remember a couple years back when current Congressman Ellison out of Minnesota, seemingly inferred, kind of alluded to the fact that Hitler was also, George W. Bush was Hitler due to the whole 9/11. So, I mean,
I think they're both pretty atrocious.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, you expect this from politics. People are going to say what they're going to say just to get that free earned media that we're giving them now. So, again, we're going to hear from both the left and the right these crazy statements. And, of course, Neil will follow up my statement to pound on Bachman. But go ahead.
Go ahead, Neil. Yeah, what's your rebuttal?
I guess I'll say, actually, I wouldn't even pound on Bachman. It's not worth it. Who is she today? I don't know. The bigger thing is, it's worth remembering that Michelle Bachman was considered a legitimate presidential candidate just a few years ago in the Republican Party.
For about a week, though.
Listen, that's a week longer than she would have been on the Democratic side. So let's point out this is the wide
Neil, Bernie Sanders
that we can imagine.
Bernie Sanders,
the Republican Party in 2016.
Bernie Sanders thinks he can win. Do you think he's in that same? If you're going to dismiss Michelle Bachman, do you think Bernie Sanders is in the same category?
No, I mean, Bernie Sanders isn't saying wackadoodle things comparing the president of the United States to a suicide bomber on a jet plane in Europe. That's just nuts.
That is wackadoodle.
It is.
I'm with Neil on that one.
Right. We all agree that it was going way too far for Michelle Bachman.
And disrespectful.
Yes, exactly. Way too
Extremely,
soon.
yeah.
And, we'll leave it
Well,
there.
I
Guys, thanks so much for being with us. Javier Manjarres and Neil Sroka.
Great to be here.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, so I guess we'll just leave that Michelle Bachman.
I guess, yeah.
We had to bring it up, but we should probably
We have to bring it up because people are talking about it. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. All right. Well, much more to come here on America's Forum. When we come right back, we're going to be talking about some things. We're going to be talking to Jeffrey Nathan about some issues coming up, and we got much more to come here on the show. when we talked to Mr. Nathan, capital punishment in the news. We got this Dzhokhar Tsarnaev trial. They're trying to, and then you also have pharmacists now joining the chorus saying we should not be selling these death lethal injection drugs.
Interesting.
We'll get a legal perspective from
It's a
Jeffrey
busy show
Nathan.
today.
Oh, we
I'm
got
so
a lot to
happy
talk
to be
about.
joining you.
That's why we have 3 hours, Vera.
That's a long show.
All right, more to come here. We're going to talk about the death penalty with Jeffrey Nathan right after this.